Welcome back to Ozarks Box AM. It's time for another Intrigue Journal with the intriguing Julianne.
Hi!
Good to see you.
So good to be back. It feels like forever. I miss you guys.
We miss you when you're not here.
Yes. I've been completely immersed in lost treasure. The legend of the lost Dutchman gold mine, you guys. This is a story that's been going on in a search for 125 plus years.
Wow.
People have become obsessed. They quit their jobs. They travel to this location in search of this treasure. And it's estimated 600 people have died in the pursuit.
And still they keep going.
They keep going, yes.
Jeremy.
It's Superstition Mountains is where it is.
Okay.
Apache Junction. My parents wintered there. And so right at the base of the mountain. And my 76-year-old double hip replacement cancer surviving dad wanted to climb to one of its peaks in 2016. And we did, and I can attest to it's rugged, it's dangerous, there's predator, you can easily lose your footing, become lost. There are several rescues every year. But that's how I learned about this legend, okay? Now, what's a legend? It's something that seems plausible, but we don't have proof, right?
Right.
But what if there was somebody who found the mine and has proof? I'm getting ahead of myself.
Okay. I was like, yeah, I'm on the edge of my seat. Like, huh?
Let's take a listen. I got
All right, let's take a look.
Okay.
There are many twists and turns on the fabled mystery of the Superstition Mountains. Strange disappearances, deaths, secret treasures. One thing is for certain, no matter what the motivation is for all of the people who have traversed this difficult and dangerous terrain, this expedition begins with a legend and ends in treasure. The legend of the lost Dutchman's gold mine began with a German immigrant by the name of Jacob Waltz. He was a gold prospector in the Phoenix Valley in the late 1800s, and according to legend, Waltz claimed to have located a rich vein of gold in the Superstition Mountains. There are stories of him selling small quantities in Florence, and some estimate he turned in $150,000 in gold. That's worth over $4 million today. Many believe Waltz learned of the mine and its location from two members of the Mexican Peralta family, who at one time had owned the mines in the Superstition Mountains prior to the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, when the land became U.S. territory. Some believe Waltz paid for this information. Others believe he killed for it. Jacob Waltz died of pneumonia in 1892. Beneath his deathbed was 48 pounds of gold ore. Some of this was made into a matchbox. Years later, in an effort to determine the source of his gold, the matchbox was sent off for testing. A gold assayer can tell, based on its mineralization, not only what mine gold comes from, but what level of the mine. One could say gold has a fingerprint or a DNA. And it was determined that the gold from the matchbox is from a source or mine that is yet unknown. It's as if there remains a hidden mine in the Superstition Mountains. Waltz kept the location secret until his deathbed, when he drew up a map for Julia Thomas, his caregiver. Thomas searched for the mine without success. She later sold the maps for $7. That would be $200 today. Since then, the legend has advanced and the characters and maps have multiplied. The Superstition Mountain Museum has a record 18 maps on display, including a replica of the much-debated Peralta stones, which many believe are fake. It's a thick and rich story that goes back as far as the ancient Indians and continues to current day. Around 100 books have been published about this story, 6 times more published than Captain Kidd's buried treasure, according to a folklore historian. But before any gold-seeking Dutchman, the mountain was home to the Apache, and often trampled by rivaling Pima Indians, and later the Peralta family, and hundreds of Mexicans who, while mining the area, were massacred in the 1840s. The Apaches acknowledged friend from foe. One doctor who healed an important tribe member was blindfolded and taken to a mine where he could take as much gold as he could carry. There's all the makings of a good story: conspiracy, conflict, murder, and love of gold, or at least the hunt. There are superstitions about a mountain monster, a thunder god and a Dutchman's curse. Such was the case for Adolf Ruth, who acquired a map from the Peralta family. In the hot summer of 1931, 76-year-old Ruth went into the mountains by himself and disappears. His skull was found 6 months later with 2 bullet holes and his body a half a mile away. There was no map, but a notebook with the handwritten words, Veni, Vidi, Vici. I came, I saw, I conquered. The clues left behind by Jacob Waltz have yet to result in finding the source of his gold. It's as if you must be standing in front of the mine itself to understand the clues. It can be said that those who make the expedition have strong convictions about where the mine hides. There are many theories.
That's where I can tell you right where it's at. If you're on the patio of the Mammoth Steakhouse Saloon, and you look off into not too far distance, you'll see what looks like a Spanish adobe house out in the middle of the parking lot. What's it doing there? It's covering the spot of the old mine.
I decided it was time to test out my own theories about where the gold mine might be. Having made the trek with my dad to the Flatiron Peak in 2016, he was my natural sidekick for a treasure hunt. We chose an area near Weaver's Needle, which plays prominently in the clues. You never know what's out here. You gotta be prepared. It could be javelinas, rattlesnakes, gunslingers. We come prepared.
We're just saying.
Hundreds search for the mine each year, and there are many strange stories recorded. Many people have vanished, others have been found with bullet holes in their skulls. Several are decapitated. The skulls are found in faraway locations from the body, or not at all. Some remains have been found in crevices. Camps have been abandoned. Bloodied blankets are found, reports of snipers, and rolling stones that appear to have been pushed from above. Conflicts ensue between prospectors and even between partners, resulting in bloodshed or reports of attempted murder. A few have been institutionalized after returning from expedition. Some have mysteriously died upon their return. The allure of gold has claimed the lives of an estimated 600. It seems the curse of the thunder god is in place. It is said that some Apaches believe the hole to the underworld is in the Superstition Mountains, and that a thunder god watches over the mountain. Even so, those who fall victim to the lure of lost mines seldom escape from their fascination.
We're standing at the base of the Apache Trail. Up ahead is an outcropping, a butte that's known as Weaver's Needle. Weaver's Needle is considered to be a prominent landmark in locating the lost mines. Now, there have been hundreds of books written on the legend and history. There's not been one book on exactly where it is. People still search for it to this day. I found a very credible source who has spent years searching this, and he's coming out with a book scheduled for the summer of 2020. It'll be a great book. I reached out to him and I'm hoping to hear back from him, and if I do, it'll be on next week's journal.
Ooh, intriguing.
I love a good treasure hunt.
do too,
Do you want to
yes.
know if he got back to me?
Did he get back to you?
He did.
Oh, yay.
So I've talked to him many hours in the last 2 days, and he's credible. He has evidence. Here's the backstory. There are a lot of mines in this mountain, a lot of mines that have been mined, and people find an empty one and they think it's the Dutchman's. But nobody's been able to take all the clues, or a lot of the clues, and the maps and match them up to markers and monuments on the ground until now. This group, real deal. And the story it's so much more than gold. I just can't wait to
Really?
share with you. Yeah, it's
And we get
so
to hear it.
fascinating. Yes.
Oh, this is
Next
so
week.
exciting.
I'm always fascinated because Was his map just not very good that people can't find what he's talking about? Because you think you'd see like a landmark or something.
It's such a huge area. I mean, just think, over 125 years, they still haven't found it. And yet this one person, and the whole story about how he found it and why he found it, it's just, there's so much to it. It's really
He found it.
So he did find it?
Well, it really seems like he did. There's a lot of, there's compounding evidence.
Did he buy a new car recently?
Yeah, I was going to say. How rich is he? Yeah.
Well, you can't mine it.
Oh, you can't?
You can't. No, it'll be owned by the
government.
state. Yeah, but there'd be other perks to finding that.
I just wanted to make a joke.
But it's really the journey. It was the journey.
It was the journey.
It was the journey for my father and I too. That's the mountain.
Your dad is adorable, by the way.
I'm just saying. He is so cute. He is so cute.
I'm just saying I love your dad.
Yeah, I love him too. Yeah, that's fantastic.
So next week you'll be back with the interview with him?
Yes. It might be a two-part.
Okay.
Okay, that's
think.
fine. We have time. We love that.
we
So
have
we'll
plenty
make
of
it 3
this.
total.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Julia.
Julia. We appreciate you. All right, we'll be back to wrap things up right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Do you not think it would be hard though to find it and not to take a little?
A little.
I mean, that would be really tempting.
Something.